Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. I am so sorry. I've got something going on, a cold or something. My voice is a little raspy and don't know what's happening, but I feel fine. I'm just having an issue. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about something pretty serious. I think, there's a lot of videos out there talking about Harry and Meghan's Colombia tour and their trip and everything. But like I always say, I want to get to something that's a little bit more meaty, something that's more consequential to real life. And that's what we're talking about today because this is an article that was written in The Hill. It's titled an opinion piece, in Colombia, Harry and Meghan's harmful smoke and mirrors faux statecraft. This was an opinion piece that was written by Jan Sweet. He's a retired Army military intelligence officer, and Mark Toth. He is a national security and foreign policy writer. Like they know the 411. If they're chiming in on what Harry and Meghan are doing, people need to listen up. Because while we're like, oh, that's just so cute, like they's royal. They going to Colombia, they go see the little kids, and that's a lie. That's a lie. All these things. But the real world consequences of what Harry and Meghan are doing are really dangerous. They're really here in our face. And this is why I wanted to highlight this article, this opinion piece, because when you have American generals, military men chiming in on Harry and Meghan, who are doing things that making us think one thing when the reality is really serious, oh, you better listen up because this can be very serious, okay? So let's just take a moment to chime in on this opinion piece and talk about it, all right? So let's get into it. And the article begins like this. This is what I think. It tells it all. The article begins with, "Here we go again." Here we go again. It's very similar to the South Park and this, privacy tour that they did mocking Harry and Meghan because it's so true. For a couple that wanted privacy, that wanted to go do what they wanted to do, but now you're acting like you're royals in all of your glory of fakeness. People see it and it's like, here we go again. It's like, here we go again. Okay. So Harry and Meghan, yeah, they indulge in this really flashy faux royal tour. And so while King Charles and his family are on their annual summer holiday at Balmoral Castle, they clearly decided to do this tour during this time. But what I find so interesting and really good for the king, because this is what a king does. There's been this horrible thing that happened in Southport where these three little girls were murdered, and the king, and there was a lot of uprisal, a lot of things happening with rioting in the United Kingdom behind what happened. It's really tragic, but the king went visiting the memorials of these children, and he's going to be meeting privately with the families of these children, these beautiful girls who were killed during this Taylor Swift event that they were attending, this dance themed Taylor Swift event. And, the king is there to represent the country, the state of, you know, support that he's giving on behalf of the country. That's what a king does. And I'm glad he's doing this. And the king is representing a bigger picture. He's there representing something that in context is more meaningful. But what Harry and Meghan are doing, who are they representing? They're representing themselves in their own interests. This is why they're so dangerous. But commending the king for what he is doing and going out and meeting with these families. And it's just so tragic what happened. I mean, when I first saw that story, I just was heartbroken for these children and their families because it's like, what world do we live in when this happens? And this is why the state of what you do as a public person matters. It really matters because these are the real world consequences that are happening. People are being murdered. There are wars. There are heavy stakes involved when you go out to parade yourself on a world stage. So this tour that Harry and Meghan had really was serving Harry and Meghan's own interests. It was public relations for Harry and Meghan. They're serving the interests of themselves in Montecito. That's exactly what they're doing. And for all the people that support them, be careful what you support because you don't understand the underbelly of what Harry and Meghan have planned or what their actions can cause in a real world scenario. So they go on to say in this opinion piece that it risks doing a great disservice to the foreign policy of the United Kingdom and also by extension the national security of the United States. These are people that know what they're talking about. What Harry and Meghan are doing, they are playing with things that have real consequences to our national security here in America and over in the United Kingdom. So, official royal tours like the U.S. presidential visits abroad are intended to advance foreign policy interests of the United Kingdom. Beyond high level meetings and glitzy receptions, these high stake diplomatic undertakings are measured by the bilateral nation to nation deliverables that are expected of them and of their lasting positive impact. It goes a lot further than what you see from these glitzy receptions and people visiting with each other. Like there are deals happening and they're going to want something. The people that you're visiting, the country that you're visiting on behalf of, what are you going to do for them? They're not going to just let you come and show up and be you, do you, boo, okay? And Harry and Meghan, they're definitely getting what they want out of it. But what does Colombia want out of it? I talked about how Colombia perhaps wanted to distract from what was going on in their country. But what other underlining things could the president of Colombia want from Harry and Meghan's visit? Because he's not going to allow Harry and Meghan to show up and, be taken around by the vice president without approving it. So what does the president of Colombia want for that matter? Right? What does the president want from Harry and Meghan that we don't even know about? Because he had to give the okay for the vice president to bring Harry and Meghan in and to spend $1.9 million of the taxpayers' money was spent on Harry and Meghan's security. They took resources from the people of Colombia to pay for Harry and Meghan's security. I mean, that right there in itself is all the reason that you need not to bring them to your country. And then this article is so good. I'm telling you, you guys need to read this. I'll leave a link to this article in the description. But this is the problem. Harry and Meghan can't deliver the impact that is needed when there are these high profile state visits or when you parade around with another country as a visitor, having multiple dressings of new outfits, and when you're taken around to visit schools and to speak on behalf of your issues you want to bring up. Like there's so much more to it, and Harry and Meghan can't deliver more than their soft little facade of, we want to pretend like we're royal. Let us come and act like we're royal in your country. Harry and Meghan can't do more than that. But that's what these visits mean and represent. However, arguably, Harry and Meghan, they had a lot to gain. Therein lies, really the issue. There's this not so private worldwide tours are masquerading around as royal tours, undoubtedly valuable from a business branding and marketing standpoint. And that's all it represents. And this is how the people that support Harry and Meghan, this is how shallow they are. Because they only see that. They just see, oh, that's Harry and Meghan. Look, y'all leave them alone. They're going on their royal tour. I just love her outfit. And it's so cute. And that's just the superficial stuff. And that's how shallow the people that support Harry and Meghan are. Because that's all they see. But this right here is the deeper issue of what it really means what Harry and Meghan have done and what they will continue to do. Cashing in on this faux statecraft really should be beyond the pale for the son and daughter-in-law of the reigning king of England and the head of the Commonwealth of Nations. Harry especially knows better. And that is what's so shocking, that he is continuing in his ignorance. Now, we know Harry and Meghan tried to justify this trip. They talked about promoting mental health and safeguarding youth and young people from online harm, which, okay, that's good if you want to try to do something good. But in Colombia, these people got a lot more serious issues to talk about than online bullying that Harry and Meghan are trying to make relevant for their reason for touring in Colombia. In many minds, the Duke and Duchess are the multimedia standard bearers of familiar bullying, including Harry glassly weaponizing now a 9-year Princess Charlotte in his memoir, Spare, in a likely effort to publicly embarrass and humiliate her parents, William and Catherine. Because that's a really interesting way to look at it. You're bullying the parents of your niece in your book, Spare. But yet you're going to try to represent something around bullying in Colombia, which people should see is just such a fake and a fraud. It is therefore not without irony when Harry claimed in Colombia, quote, the spare of false information via AI and social media means we are no longer debating facts, close quote. Well, the facts are, Harry, you bullied a lot of people in your book. The facts are Harry and Meghan bullied a lot of people in their documentary on Netflix. The facts are that Harry and Meghan, or Meghan more specifically, bullied a lot of her staff within the royal family, so much so that they had to change their protocols around the royal family and their dealings with staff, and conducted a bullying investigation around what Meghan did. Because we know people of Harry and Meghan's staff came forward and talked about in a report how they were bullied by Meghan. So it's laughable that Meghan can even try to come on behalf of social justice and trying to help better online communities around bullying online when she herself bullies people. They are the ill-suited messengers. The timing of this faux royal tour was suspect. The royal family for decades, as was Queen Elizabeth's customs, vacations as a private family in Balmoral in August. And it begs the question whether their trip was about serving Colombia's interest or embarrassing Harry's family. And I thought about something else. We all saw how this tour was mostly about Meghan, this trip to Colombia. Doesn't it undermine Harry's security concerns going to the United Kingdom by going to Colombia? What if this was something that was just set up by Meghan to undermine her husband about his own security concerns? Because we all know that Meghan did say at some point that she would consider going back to England if they got the security that would protect them, this high level security. But I think Meghan convincing Harry to go to Colombia to help undermine these security concerns would help Harry to not get the security that he wants, which would be something that Meghan would want. Thus undermining Harry's security concerns by convincing him to go to Colombia, knowing full well that it would make his point about security in the United Kingdom null and void, because you're willing to go to one of the most crime-ridden countries with your wife on a tour, a fake royal tour, which would sound like Meghan wanting to undermine Harry's security concerns. I tell you, it doesn't get any better than this. It makes it very, very likely that Meghan wanted Harry to undermine the security concerns, because we know she is never going to go back to the United Kingdom. And this is partly the reason why I believe she convinced him to go to Colombia to help undermine everything around the security concerns that he has, considering how dangerous it is in Colombia. Hello? Washington, however, is concerned with how the Balancing Act does play out. 90% of cocaine entering the United States originates from Colombia. And Colombian cocaine production is rapidly snowballing due to growing global demand. 90%. Would not your concern be if you're going to Colombia to address this? Because drugs coming into our country is a big problem. Harry and Meghan never addressed this. This is why going to Colombia, trying to represent something around online bullying and visiting girls and boys and talking about these mental health issues, it's not really the right country to talk about these things. Because if you're an American going over there talking about this, when we have a much bigger issue, and that is the infiltration of cocaine into our country from Colombia. But I digress. That's just another issue. I'm sorry. So, San Downing Street's advice. Harry and Meghan were naively playing checkers in a dangerous world of superpower 3D chess. When people are saying this is how you know the king needs to do something. Because this is serious, especially if this is being said. It's dangerous, Harry and Meghan, and what they are doing. While they're playing house, they're causing real world consequences to their behavior, their stupidity of walking around looking like fake royals, trying to be important and to make their branding on a global stage. They're ignorant. Where he says that, you want to sell jams, you want to sell dog biscuits, you want to have a cooking show, you want to do all of these things. That is fine, Meghan. That is fine. But using countries such as Colombia as a marketing backdrops and as tools to upstage the royal family is decidedly, it's not okay. It's not okay to do, especially given that the far-reaching and ongoing global implications to the U.S. and the United Kingdom's national security. You're playing with fire, Harry and Meghan. The king needs to do something, and we know they're going to be having this Balmoral Summit with the royal family, and they're going to be discussing these titles, and it needs to be discussed because Harry and Meghan are very dangerous. While they're out there marketing and prolificating and doing all these things, we's royals, we's royals. Hi, Colombia. Hi, hello, Jamaica. Hello, Nigeria. Hello, we're royals, we're royals. While they're out doing these things, they are causing real world consequences with their behavior because there's nothing they can do when these countries want something in return. They can't offer anything, but they can definitely put our leadership in a very compromising position when these countries come back wanting something from us. Because they can say, well, your royals, your U.S. citizen Meghan Markle, and your prince came to our country, United Kingdom. We want something in return. And then what? And then what? What are Harry and Meghan going to do then? What? They're not going to be able to do anything because they don't have anything to offer. You are fake, you're phony, and you have no business taking your butt to foreign countries and trying to pretend like you are royal because you are not. And it's about time the king, somebody said something because you are playing serious games that can jeopardize our national security. You need to take your butts back to California and stay there and go sell your dog biscuits, Meghan Markle. Go sell your jams. Because going on a world stage trying to pretend like you have something to offer people, you walked away, remember? You don't want to do that no more. You didn't want to follow instructions. You didn't want to work on behalf of the royal family. You didn't want to do this. So why are you now pretending like you are royals, trying to enrich yourselves? It's about time people told them, no, take your butt home and be with your children. And this is really good how he sums it up here. So once upon a time before Hollywood, Harry could have continued suitably championing global statecraft, but no longer because he and Meghan, they chose freedom and dollars over royal duty. Now it is high time they cease their smoke and mirrors, act and permanently exit the global stage of statecraft. Colombia has real substantive needs, and Sussex Inc. cannot even begin to substantially deliver on anything. You need to take yourself and be gone.